I imagine, you were weighing that balance, like, what's more important? Am I more important, or how the culture,
Right.
is the culture more important?
Tradition.
Yeah.
And like
Right.
her whole family, like literally
Like,
everybody. It was
everybody.
like you against everyone.
Literally.
Yep.
Felt like that.
It's like you against the whole entire ancestry.
Right.
Because you ultimately you were in a situation that you were like groomed into. You were
Yeah.
groomed into that. Unbeknownst to you, but you thought you were doing what you were supposed to do.
Right.
And the way that I'm hearing it, it's more of a cultural duty than it is a fulfilling of self and a fulfilling of
Yeah.
life, and ultimately, reflecting God and reflecting Christ.
Right. Absolutely. I would say in Nigerian culture, the love aspect comes later. They're like, oh, you can grow into that. And that's what I was thinking.
You'll get there.
That's what I was thinking we would do. I'm like, okay, I know we're
okay.
not there now, but we'll eventually grow into that. I didn't know that you needed to have some, like, even like the person as a baby, like a bare minimum,
Because you never had the opportunity to practice.
Right.
And that
I'm
was
guessing, more so, like my older sister dated for sure. So it was more me trying to, be the good little girl and, be in my books and get the, the medical degree and whatever.
With me having to relearn, reprocess, rethink what sex was, that was like taking a part of my identity away.
Just because you may need to seek help or you may be in transition and things may not be right, it doesn't necessarily mean that your marriage is bad.
Marriage is a roller coaster ride that never ends.
From the twists of having children, to the turns of overly involved parents, or the highs of buying a new home, to the lows of unexpected lifestyle changes.
Marriage is dope, but let's be honest, fam. Marriage really be tiring.
Welcome to the Left Hand Gang podcast, hosted by Jazz and Spoon.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's the Left Hand Gang.
What up, gang?
Hey, girl. Hey. Guess what? You fine.
Thank you.
You is fine.
Appreciate
yes,
it.
I won. I won. I was thinking about April 28th, 2018. Was it 18? Or 19?
No,
Or it was 17.
17.
Yeah. I was thinking about that day. For y'all, for those of you who don't know, that was the day I proposed. And I was like, man, I did good. Like, real good.
It's so funny. That girl is not the same girl that I am today.
I know. I didn't even know I married this person today.
Right.
Like, I married April 28th, 2017.
Well, technically, July 13th.
Yeah, technically,
2019.
2019.
But yeah,
I proposed. And those are two different people, by the way.
the
The person I proposed to and the person I married.
Was I even taking God serious?
I mean, yeah, because that's why I
think
proposed.
we had just, I kind of just got on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we started taking, that's crazy. The people that we proposed to and then the people that we marry are still two different people.
And then down the line,
And then throughout the marriage, they're a different person.
wow.
Man, I didn't even know.
I'm
who
glad
was
I
going
went
there.
up though, and I didn't back.
Yeah. I mean, there was some times you were stagnant though.
Wait a minute.
I was too.
Wait.
Nah, what?
Oh, stagnant.
Yeah, you was in stagnant.
Huh.
I was too though.
I'm just trying to like.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't go back though.
You did not.
I didn't go back. I didn't go back.
You did not go back. So, you fine.
You fine too, baby. Thank you.
How you living?
I'm living okay. I'm tired, bro. Like
Yeah.
Saturday, I don't know what it is about Saturdays now. Like they used to be like, let's go, let's do all the things and get in the street, and it's like
And you won't even go to the curb.
it won't. I just want to leave my pajamas on and get on this couch.
That's funny.
I'm prepping for Sunday because Sunday is like a whole event
Yeah,
for
it
us.
is.
When
It's
you
a
work
big
in
event.
ministry, Sundays are
It's an event.
it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
It's a blessing.
It
but
is.
It is a lot. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm tired, but I'm like, I'm okay. Where you
Yeah.
at?
Same old. Juggling 8 things.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
usual.
the same analogy I keep using. Glass balls and rubber.
Mm-hmm.
Just juggling, making sure I don't drop the glass ones.
Yeah.
I can drop the rubber ones. They're going to bounce back up.
Right.
But the glass ones, they're going to shatter. So,
I need you to catch those
yeah, me too.
for your family's sake.
Yeah, well, if I got to catch it for me too. I'm one of the glass ones. I can't drop meat.
That's real.
So, yeah, same old. That's where I is. Wow. Who do we have with us today?
We have Sika with us today.
We have Madam CEO, aka
Hey.
Sika Lawson in the
Hey.
building. How
Glad
are
to
you?
be here. Good.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
Of course, girl. Thanks for
Yes.
coming. On short notice, too.
Well,
Was it
no,
short?
no.
No, we rescheduled. So
Yeah,
it's
we had to
right.
reschedule a little bit,
we had to
but-
reschedule a little bit. See, you pull your mic.
So
just
y'all pulled me in. Y'all
Yeah,
made
yeah,
it
yeah.
for me.
a little
With
bit.
the reschedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You pull your mic up a little bit, just
Sure.
a little bit. Yep, there you go.
That
You
good?
good. Yep, that's good. So, who are you? Where you from? What set you claim?
What you do?
Where you be at?
Who your people?
Child, so many different ways I can go with that.
Yeah.
But I am first and foremost a believer in the Most High God.
Let's go.
With that kind of trickles down into everything else.
Mhm.
I am a mother of 3 beautiful princesses, sister, daughter, friend, turn up sis,
Turn up sis.
brunching girl.
Brunch. Okay.
I
yeah.
love it.
And aside from that, I am really passionate about the Black community.
Mhm.
So that kind of trickles into one of my passions is building a bridge between us in the diaspora and us on the continent. I feel like we're all cut from the same cloth.
Mhm.
I'm a Nigerian, Togolese Nigerian. I'm first generation. So my
Mhm.
parents are from Togo and Nigeria.
Okay.
Okay.
Grew up in Minnesota. Don't ask me why.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
like
fine.
A
Out of-
Nigerian in Minnesota.
Listen,
Okay.
like
Them don't go
they
together.
needed to be where the heat was.
Right,
So
right.
they went to the snow. I did my 22 years
Mhm.
and then
Uh-huh.
ran as far south as I could. And that pretty much is a nutshell, I guess, of who I am.
Man, so how did that Minnesota Nigerian dynamic, like how was that? What was that like?
Was it a lot of y'all up there?
There's more now. There was a handful in the beginning,
Mhm.
so we all knew each other. So we're
Right.
all family.
Of course. We're all
We had to
family.
band together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find some heat and come together. But it was a good community. It was a good place. It's a great place to grow up. Actually, I would say that.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a real hometown feel.
Okay.
A lot of homey people, homebodies. What else do we do? There's
Mhm.
can't go
It's
outside for
Minnesota.
Right. This is
outside of the 3 months of the year.
Right. That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it's a good upbringing.
Yeah,
hmm
that's crazy. So like, what do you do? Like, what do you?
Plantation work or passion work?
Yeah, okay, so we
okay.
have
Let's
three.
talk about it.
So
Plantation work. I shouldn't call that. I shouldn't claim that.
No,
but
it's okay. Hey,
what I do is a day-to-day job. I'm a user experience designer and researcher. So
Oh, you
that
smart.
is,
And
I
you
try
good with
to be.
technology.
I try to be.
Real
That's really
smart.
just enhancing digital projects, making sure they're user-friendly and optimized with whatever end user that the client wants. Passion work. I'm the founder of Macola. Macola is really a bridge, like I said, for the global Black community to come together via commerce, community, and knowledge. So it's a resource hub for Black entrepreneurs, but at the same time, it's also a marketplace where you can shop products, all of your favorite products from small Black-owned businesses worldwide. So
That's dope.
that's a nutshell of what that is. Yeah.
That's dope.
So she's smart, real smart,
Like real smart.
like super smart.
Or I get by.
Get-
I
she
fake
get-
smart.
She gets by with
Sit on
intelligence. She gets by with intelligence.
Right.
She gets by. But she also is very passionate about the Black community. Like, what
Yeah.
pushed that? What's the driving force behind that?
Oof. So it's funny, and shouldn't say this out loud, but in the beginning, growing up, again, being Nigerian, there was a difference between, Nigerians or Africans and Black Americans. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
I grew up not really liking Black Americans for a little bit. I think more so I wasn't accepted. I felt like I wasn't accepted. I got the whole African booty scratcher
Yep.
type thing and go back to Africa type thing growing up. So there was always that division. But it's not until I got older, going to college, like I was cool. You know, we were always cool because there wasn't that many Black people in Minnesota in the first place. And then on top of that, I went to a predominantly white school. So we all had to get together
Yeah.
just for numbers' sake. But even with that, like we knew, okay, if you're African, you really stay with the Africans and vice versa. So, but in college, same thing in college. It wasn't really until 2020 that I got, I would say, I don't even know what to call it. Just kind of like a fresh wind. It was a lockdown. I had a lot of time to spend in the scriptures and just uncovering kind of, okay, you know, bloodlines don't die. Who are the modern day kind of descendants of all these groups in the Bible? So with that, I believe the Spirit just kind of unraveled things to me. And I said earlier, we're all cut from the same cloth. So that's really what it was. So I'm like, dang, we're all the same people. They've had us in division all these years.
Right.
We really, and you know, a house divided against itself can't stand. And that's really what they've tried to do. So that really started the passion for me to say, we need to come together. We're really family, you know? And that's when Macola was birthed, was in 2020.
Wow.
From that experience. And then, you know, I love all y'all. Like I love us, you know? So that's really kind of what's been my driving force since then, is really coming together. For Black people, I feel like abundance is our birthright. And I think we've gone far from that. And I'm trying with whatever gifts and talents within me to push us back to that place.
I love that. I love that.
I was gonna let you jump in if you want.
I was waiting on you because I don't have it all. It reminds me of someone in the Bible. I don't think it's Paul, but it was someone, he went up to pray or something. He was spending time with God. And then basically God, that's where he learned like Gentiles also can receive from God, and what you eat doesn't defile you. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
You put together like 5 Bible scriptures or Bible stories, so I didn't know which.
It's a person, and it was just the revelation that he got, and it reminded me of her story. I'm gonna get it later.
More than likely, it was probably Paul. He was probably one of them because he talked about that. Right. I mean, even Jesus, you know, he said it's not what you eat, not what's on the inside that defiles you, but what comes out is what defiles. So, yeah. But in a nutshell, I'm gonna
go find it.
Yeah, you go find it. Go find it. Ooh, watch your face. It's a whole microphone right there. I really love how it's like you going through your own, I guess, deliverance. Really, your own deliverance story is what birthed the entrepreneurial endeavor, because you saw the need. And I really think that's important whenever we're talking about like purpose and whatnot. Because a lot of people, you know, they ask that question, what is my purpose? But you can't really find a purpose, I believe, until you walk through deliverance. Because you really have an understanding of, you know, what are some issues that I'm dealing with? What are some things that I'm working through? What are some areas in me that I need to probably let go of, even if they're good?
Yeah. So it's funny. So I'm not new to entrepreneurship, but the purpose is the key thing, because this is the first venture I would say I've had that I have that passion. That's really the fire, beneath it all. So, I mean, I feel like I've been hustling since I've been out the womb. So my name means money. It means gold. So I feel like it matters what you name your children.
Yes.
I just have that natural affinity for it. But I saw my mom, she had her, 9-to-5 job, but she also hustled on the side. She did hair on the weekends. So that's really where that entrepreneurship bug got in me. And I saw how, there were times where maybe my dad didn't have a job and the side job helped us stay afloat. So even that is something that I feel like we need to be self-sustaining and have our own businesses. I'm big on entrepreneurship. And if there's any talent that anybody has, you can monetize that. You can turn that into a little side hustle or a side gig or something to help, stay afloat. And then that can be birthed into a larger business venture if you choose. I know not everybody wants to be, but I think that's one of the things I'm really passionate about, getting people to turn their passions into profit.
So you haven't been an entrepreneur. I gotta ask this question, and you have this passion for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't really cooperate with each other
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to entrepreneurship. We want the discount.
Yep.
We want the family discount.
Sure
We
do,
want to,
20%.
you know, we have the tendency to feel entitled to each other's
Yes,
gifts,
yes.
each other's things, and so. How does that, really impact, you and what you're trying to do for the community?
For me personally, I don't do the family discounts.
Okay.
I don't
Mhm.
ask for them. Pay me what you're worth.
Mhm.
I'll pay you what you're worth, and you pay me
Mhm.
what I'm worth.
Yeah.
So I setting this up really where, I mean, if people want to offer it, that's cool, but the price is what the price is,
Right.
Price.
and we as a community have to learn to respect that, because we're not going to, the Chinese or the Indians and asking for discounts up the
Mhm.
front.
Yeah.
So we need to have that same level of love and respect for each other, because I mean, that's our businesses, that's our
Mhm.
livelihood at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so real because I deal with that sometimes.
Mhm.
Because I do a lot of different things from DJing, podcast, whatever it is, and it's like, hey, bro, can you? I'm like, dog, do you know how long it took me to learn this stuff?
Yeah.
You know how long it took me
It's
to
true.
get as good as I have been, or to be as efficient with my workflow.
Mhm.
And I have to tell people a lot of times, like, yo, people went to school for the things that they do.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to keep that in mind. Like, they're the expert in this
Right.
in comparison to you. You
Right.
don't know, but you know you need the service.
Right.
So, how
And it's like,
dare
know your
you?
worth and then add tax.
Right.
Because people don't really
Right.
people don't really know the
Yeah.
education, the time that it took to train. They just see the end product, and
That's
that's what
it.
they want the discount.
And it's
off
like,
of,
bro,
so.
Yeah.
you don't, the price that I'm giving you is not for the 10 minutes
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
that it took me to figure it
Yep,
out.
that's
It's the
true.
30 plus years
Yes.
to be efficient enough to
Yeah.
do it in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
That's what you're paying for.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
You
sorry.
said you help you mentioned something about like you help people to see that. So do you have like in Macola, do you have, am I saying it right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nicola, yeah.
Do you have a process where you're helping build other entrepreneurs or something like that?
So yes, so
Okay.
there's a resource hub that's being built, essentially, where people can go for trainings, certifications eventually.
Okay.
We'll eventually partner with like where you can get federal grants and things like that. So there are going to be courses where people can take, or the podcast where people can just glean information from other
Mhm.
entrepreneurs and help their journey. So
That's dope.
Yeah, that's going to be.
That's really good.
And
And
then
you're
maybe
not doing
outs-
that by yourself. You're
No child.
partnering with it. No child. You also said something that I thought was really good. You talked about how having a side hustle, it doesn't always have to be this huge business.
Mhm.
And when we think about entrepreneurship, I know I've been guilty of this. It's like, it's not successful unless like it's this huge thing that maybe
Right.
I can leave my 9 to 5 for. And I think, sometimes that may not be our course, and that's okay,
Exactly.
but it can
Mhm.
still be something, like you said, it could be extra money.
Mhm.
It could be a temporary thing to hold you afloat. And so that's very profound to me. I never thought of it that way.
Mhm.
And in today's economy, I mean, you need something.
You do,
You know?
because baby, groceries are. I mean, you got to sell an arm and a leg
I'm
just to go get
like,
the
for
basics.
This salmon is $19.
The
Right.
salmon?
Girl, the salmon.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I hadn't even been over there.
See,
So
I stopped eating salmon for a little bit. Like, I can't.
Yeah, got to fast from that one.
right. You see, we done moved. We took that off already.
Yeah, it's off the normal grocery list.
right. Yeah, that's a really good perspective.
It is. So how do you juggle it? Being a single mom of 3.
Well, I say that I'm a mother who is single,
Mhm.
not
Okay.
a single mom. They have a very active father.
Okay.
50-50 custody. So I do have a week off. So we switch 1 week on, 1 week off.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when it's my week on, I'm on with the kids. And I know my productivity is like trash during that week. The weeks off is when I really grind. I stay up all night and get things done. So I'm trying to
Mhm.
make up for the lost week in a week's time.
Mhm.
So I have my favorite espresso drink, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man.
I like that verbiage. What made you flip it that way?
Yeah.
Because I feel like single moms, the connotation is that they're doing everything else and they don't have, the child
Help.
doesn't have a father. They don't have help.
Mhm.
So I do have help. Thankfully, their father is very involved in their lives. We co-parent very well. I mean, We can get into that later, but we co-parent very well. And my current relationship status is single. You know, I'm not doing it by myself. I have help. I have people with me. So
I don't think I've heard that said so beautifully. You know, you
Right.
said we co-parent well, and we can get into that. Let's go. Let's talk about that. Was that a journey or?
I would say our entire marriage union, I call it a wedlock.
Okay.
Emphasis on lock, but
Okay.
Okay.
besides the point. No, but our entire, so I'm married. I was married for 7 years, and it was a union really that I should not have gone into in hindsight. And should I just pull into that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can cut that part out.
Oh, you're
But
good.
so how initially, and this is a story, y'all. This is
Okay.
a story.
We here.
This is
love
a
a good story
story.
time.
I'm trying to see how I can.
Not you cross the legs.
I'm ready.
When I start seeing the legs shake like this, I'm like,
We're
okay,
ready.
I'm doing the most. Okay,
We're ready.
You are good. I'm gonna relax. Let's go.
So I'm again Nigerian. Huge part of my upbringing, obviously. In our culture, you're not supposed to date until you're married. You're
Okay.
not supposed to date until you're married.
But
Right.
y'all do anyway, though, right?
People do, yeah. But when I say you're not supposed to date until you're married, they don't want to see any boyfriends.
That's
You
right.
Oh,
really,
okay.
dating is not real. I mean, nowadays it may be different, but when I was growing up in my household, I can speak for. We weren't really, supposed to be dating. We're supposed to be in the books, which I was.
That's why she's really smart.
Right. Right.
See?
Which I was, but be in the books, and then when you get your bachelor's degree, where's your MRS degree? That's kind of the notion. So they just want to see the end guy, right? So I didn't date throughout college or high school. I talked to people, but it wasn't in an official relationship. I was on the path of med school. I actually went to med school, and then God delivered me out, thankfully.
God delivered me.
He delivered me out. Praise him, because I did not want to be a doctor. I just wanted the title. But so he delivered me out. So I went back to Minnesota, and I sounded so Minnesotan there. You guys,
You did. I heard it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, I can't. I knew what he told me while I was in med school is, you're pursuing an idol and you're wasting your life. That was the first time I audibly heard him speak to me.
Wow.
So much so I turned around to see if anybody else in the room could hear it. And, everybody was heads down studying. So I'm like, oh, okay, this must be God.
Yeah.
So I had crazy peace about it, which I knew it was him at that point. So I left. I went back to Minnesota. And Minnesota spiritually isn't, it's not like the South.
Okay.
Having lived here, I can say that. So I'm like, I'm not going to grow and learn how to hear him, because I done wasted all these years doing something I had no business doing. So I was really on the path of like, okay, what does God want me to do with my life? So went back. I was like, okay, I can't stay in Minnesota. I was really trying to be in the DMV because that's where the fine men were at.
Okay. I've heard.
They were,
What you mean?
baby.
I said I heard.
Uh-huh.
I ain't seen them. I just said I heard, baby. That's what they be saying.
Listen, I was trying to be in the DMV. So I applied to over 100 jobs there. My sister was moving to Dallas at the time. So I'm like, let me just, apply
Tag
to these
along.
two little jobs just in case, just as a throw state. But I was really trying to get out there. Didn't hear back from any of those 100+ jobs.
What? I know about
Got
that life.
accepted or got the offer for both of those 2 jobs in Dallas. So I'm like, okay,
Okay,
Lord.
God.
Wow.
Make it even more clear. Why don't you?
Okay, so you want
Yeah.
me in the South?
Yeah.
I don't like the heat because I'm used to my cold at
Yeah.
this point.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I moved to Dallas, and it's been a blessing since. I grew in hearing how to hear him. I grew in other giftings I didn't even know I had. He really gave me a really good community here. And it's been a good journey. So back to the husband thing. So I'm like living my best little life
In the South.
in
you
the
know.
South. I'm a Southern belle at this point. You know?
Can't tell you nothing.
Can't tell me nothing with my little, y'all love sweet tea down here with my little
And
sweet
do.
tea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to DC once and they didn't even have it. And I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Y'all ain't got no sweet tea?
No, I said sweet tea. Like, and they were like, we have sugar. I
Yeah.
was like, oh.
Okay.
Add that to the lemonade. That's what we do. But
Yep.
So living honestly my best little life when I moved down here, and there was a conference where I met my ex-husband at, and then I was moving to Houston for my master's. So he lived in Houston at that time. We met here in Dallas.
Okay.
And I knew he was feeling me, but I wasn't really feeling him. But I was like, okay, well, when I finally moved to Houston, he was being helpful, helping me, find good places in the neighborhood to live in. Because Houston,
Yeah.
I don't know that much about it.
listen,
Yeah.
that's all we need to say.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a lot.
That's all we need to say.
Okay.
Houston, period.
Yeah. Period.
I'm sorry, I had flashbacks, but
PTSD is real.
PTSD is real. I had flashbacks. So anywho, so long story short, he asked if I would be his girlfriend, and I agreed because I didn't have the experience. I felt behind coming from how I was raised. And when I agreed, this was a phone conversation. He was like, "Okay, great. I would like for you to meet my parents." And I'm like, "Okay, well, it's kind of soon. I was thinking it's going to be a few months,
Right?
He's
At least a
Nigerian?
couple weeks.
Listen." So this was a midnight call, right?
Oh.
Okay.
And then he's like, "Great, they're coming into town today. I'd like for you to meet them."
Okay.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And he's
You know,
Nigerian?
He's Nigerian.
Okay.
Yeah. So, 6 hours later, I was
Not 6
How long y'all been together?
Yeah.
2 hours?
How long had y'all been talking, if you will?
at that point was a week.
Wow. That
One
moved
week.
really fast.
And not
okay.
even it was extremely fast. It was the week I moved to Houston.
So it's not even a real week.
It's not right. It's not even a real week. It's like a work week, 5
Yeah.
days. But so went to his home. His mom was, there singing her little songs, cooking, her little breakfast. And at the end of that conversation, met his parents, obviously. And the dad was like, "We don't do boyfriend, girlfriend in our family. This is for marriage."
But how do
I
you
was
get to
like-
marriage?
I don't even know your son's favorite color, though.
I just learned his last name last week.
What's his middle name?
Wow.
I didn't know him. So
Yeah.
and another thing in our culture, I think that was a big contributor was there's a huge level of respect you have to give your elders. You don't talk back. They're right, even if they're wrong. There's, you have to have that reverence for them. So I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, this
Yeah.
is hella fast. Like, I don't even
Tripping.
know your son at all. I won't go there. But I wasn't really feeling your son like that, So, and he's a great guy. Let me just say that. He's a great guy, a great father for the girls. But so that was that. So that kind of set the pace. The following day, so this is like 48 hours later, I'm being introduced via text message. I see all these numbers in a mass text message as quote, the newest member of the family. So I felt kind of sucked in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't object, but the entire time my spirit was at war with me. Like, this doesn't feel right.
How do you talk to your sister? Because you have sisters.
I do.
How do you talk to your sisters or parents?
No. Well, I talked to my dad. Me and my dad are close. My dad wasn't having it. He's like, this is too fast. But one thing with me, I look very confident and I can make things. I think I can fix anything or do anything. So I'm like, well, I do want that ring though. I do want the wedding. And that's another issue in our culture. I feel like a lot of people are preparing for the wedding day and not the actual marriage. There's a lot more emphasis being put on the wedding day. So that's what I was looking forward to, the wedding day and my rock, which I had a beautiful rock, rose gold, beautiful rock. But so I was like, okay, I can fix this later. I felt like this is something I could fix later. And that's terrible to say. You shouldn't fix anybody.
Yeah.
It should be a situation where you're accepting the person, loving the person as they are.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, okay, this is going to be a whole Build-A-Bear boy. Like, I'm going to change this, do this,
Yeah.
which is terrible to say. So
Yeah.
that's how that started. The wedding happened. It was just, I wasn't at peace the entire time, but I proceeded. We had children right away, started having children right away. And year 2 is when I knew I wanted out for real. I told my mom, discouraged me against it. So at this point, we just had 2 kids. My health was starting to take a beating at this point, just because you're not in alignment. You know? So had the 2 kids, and then I was thinking, okay, because me and my ex, we never got along. Like, we were together total 10 years. We never developed a friendship as a base level, like a foundation. Like, to this day, he's, respectfully no friend of mine at all. And going back to the co-parenting, it's really a transaction between us. Like, whichever parent has the children will drop them off at school. The other parent will pick them up, start their week. We have a little kind of duffel bag type situation. We drop anything at the door, we text that it's at the door, and that's it. So that, that's sad, I would say, after, a whole decade gone, but it is what it is. But for the wedding or the marriage, where was I? At year 2, I wanted out. We started having kids. So me and my ex, we didn't get along. And then me and his mom, really, his parents, we didn't really get along. And that was just a lot of friction. So I was starting to plan my exit at this point. So I was like, okay, well, the mom in particular was a major stressor in the marriage. So I was like, we're all going to see our maker one day, right? I'll just wait until her time comes. Respectfully. Respectfully.
Yeah.
God forbid anything, but respectfully. But they've been blessed with some good genes. They live long.
They live long.
Long in the family.
Okay.
Long life has been their portion in my household, So I was like, I'm going to be here for a minute. So then I was like, okay, I'll wait till my girls are 18 and, then I'll leave. But at that point, my health was at such a bad place. I'm like, I may not even make it there. Yeah. So that was when I had to silence everybody out, because this was really by year 5. All parents knew I wasn't happy. I wanted out. Divorce is frowned upon in our culture. Yeah. Even in Christianity, God hates divorce. That's everything that was always being harped on me. So I struggled with that for like 2-3 years, whether to get out or just to, this is the bed I made it, let me lay in it. So it was at that point where my health, I was like, okay, I need to be here to take care of these kids. At that time, I was the main one taking care of the kids. So I need to be here for them. So then silenced everyone out and made my exit. But
man,
yeah,
wow,
man, that's crazy. It's like you wake up one day and it's like, how did I get here?
Yeah,
every single day.
I'm thinking about, like, as I was listening to your story. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Definitely.
I want to know more about, like, what was that like for you? Because were you going to church? And I'm thinking, I don't know how to put it into words, but as a woman, to just go through the motions and, like, how were you living, friend? Like, how were you doing that?
It wasn't good. So I wasn't really living. I would say I was existing. Even people who knew me before and knew me during, they're like, Sika, you've become a shell of yourself. And I felt like literally my body was there. And that's the one thing I really struggled with, especially as the kids were getting older. I really was trying to stay present with them, because my mind was always either in rumination, thinking, how did I get here? That was a big thing for me, because I feel like I have a good control on situations in my life, and I put myself in this situation. So I'm like, Sika, how did you slip up this bad, like, to get in this situation? Like, sis, like, how did we get here? So rumination was a big thing for me that I was trying to get over, just to stay present and be engaged with the kids. But I wasn't really living at that time. I wasn't anything. I had more peace and solace outside of the house than I did in, which was terrible. I wasn't running the streets now, but like just with friends, anything like to get me outside of the house, I had more peace there, because I can actually feel as if I was like engaged and living and, things like that.
Man, I'm really curious about like the strength to really push back on the culture, even like, because I imagine, you were weighing that balance, like, what's more important? Am I more important, or how the culture,
Right.
is the culture more important?
Tradition.
Yeah.
And like
Right.
her whole family, like literally
Like,
everybody it was like
everybody.
you against everyone.
Literally. It
Yep.
felt like
It's
that.
like you against the whole entire ancestry.
Right.
Because you ultimately you were in a situation that you were like groomed into. You were
Yeah.
groomed into that. Unbeknownst to you, but you thought you were doing what you were supposed to do.
Right.
And the way that I'm hearing it, it's more of a cultural duty than it is a fulfilling of self and fulfilling of
Yeah.
life, and ultimately, reflecting God and reflecting Christ.
Right. Absolutely. I would say in Nigerian culture, the love aspect comes later. They're like, oh, you can grow into that. And that's what I was thinking.
You'll get there.
That's what I was thinking we would do. I'm like, okay, I know we're
okay.
not there now, but we'll eventually grow into that. I didn't know that you needed to have some, like, even like the person as a baby,
Yeah.
like a bare minimum,
Because you
Yeah.
never had the opportunity to practice.
Right.
And
And that
I'm
was
guessing,
more so.
sorry,
I mean,
go ahead.
like my older sister dated for sure. So it was more me trying to be the good little girl and be in my books and get the the medical degree and whatever. So yeah.
And he had that same mindset too, I'm guessing, like the tradition of
Yeah,
how things
absolutely
go.
he did. Yeah. Yep.
So what advice or what would you share from your experience for any part of that? It could be dating while in college, because we our listeners are we have singles, we have married, we have divorced, we have like literally everything, and we have young, we have seasoned.
Yeah.
So at any part of that journey, anything that you want to share, your takeaway.
I would say definitely take the time to date. And to date doesn't mean you have to sleep with anybody.
Okay,
Yep, make that
come
clear
on.
distinction.
Take the time to date. Dating is for data.
Oh,
See if this
come on.
person is actually who you even like. Does he align with you? I'm big on purpose. So if our purpose and our vision isn't even aligned, like I would absolutely submit to you, but I need to know where you're going. I'm not going to submit to you blindly.
Yeah.
So you have to be a man of vision. So just see if you guys are aligned. Take the time to know yourself. Being single is okay. Know yourself. Love yourself first and foremost. I can say even back then, maybe I struggled with that a little bit. I won't go into that, but I struggled with that a little bit. So I think that also was the reason why I accepted, because I'm like, okay, this is what my option would be, So, but for me, like I even think about my girls, I don't even want them to get married until they're at least 30. I know that sounds old, but I feel like they will know what they're called to do. One thing that really helped me get out of the marriage was God's covenant with me is greater than the institution and covenant of my marriage. When I get to heaven, he's not going to say, okay, where's your husband or where's your marriage certificate? He's like, what did you do with your deeds? So that is what really helped me to silence all my ancestors.
Silence the ancestors.
Silence the ancestors and get out, because I'm like, I'm here being stagnant, literally, because I'm just trying to survive in this thing. So as soon as I got divorced, everything started flowing. All my gifts, all the talents. Makola really took off, actually the formation of it at that point. So it's important who you marry, because marry the wrong person, you can go to hell. Like that, somebody will take somebody out, at one point. But marriage is a beautiful thing when it's with the right person.
It is. Man, that's so beautifully said. Because you're exactly right. You can, some of us, we idolize the institution and not him.
Yes. Yep.
And it's like God is more important. Jesus is more important than the institution. And, the society that we live in, it's like we idolize marriage and we forget about people.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
You can't have a healthy marriage without healthy people.
Absolutely.
And health isn't just us agreeing on everything, but it's us working on our issues, our challenges together and separately. Being able to grow and develop and continuously evolve and all those different things throughout the courses of life. But the moment I stop growing because the other person is holding me back,
right.
I've now fallen out of alignment with God.
That's it.
and vice versa.
That is it. Period.
And so, I like how you brought up, I'm willing to submit. Like, my heart is ready to submit.
Mhm.
But bruh, I gotta know where you're going. I gotta know
I
what you're
literally
doing.
asked one point, I was like, one could chase 1,000, two should chase 10,000, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, what we chasing, bro?
What we
Like,
chasing?
what are we doing?
What are we
I didn't get married to play patty cake. What are we doing?
What we chasing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Man,
And no answer. So that's why I'm like, you have no vision for this family.
that's crazy. Wow.
Man.
Boom. Revelation that just hit me was like, so one to chase 1,000, two to chase 10.
Mhm.
So whenever you decided to get out of that marriage and to really fight for yourself and fight for your life, that's you chasing.
That's
You know
good.
what I mean?
That's
you
good.
chasing.
Yeah.
When we talk about
That's
you
good.
silencing the ancestors, that's
Yeah.
you chasing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we, us as, culture folks, yes, we love the culture, but sometimes we idolize culture more than God.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And that's heavy in the Nigerian community.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy.
Mm.
It's like, if you have scripture, if you have the cultural traditions, they would put the cultural traditions above scripture.
Mhm.
Period. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. But yeah, girl, you've been chasing. You've been chasing your 1,000.
His
Mhm.
grace.
Yeah.
So continue
His
chasing your
grace.
1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, I don't know what year you guys separated, but like, I'm sure you've had time to
Divorced.
heal. Divorced. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Done. It's ended.
It's done. Full
Divorced.
stop.
Boom.
But you don't sound bitter. You don't sound angry. You don't sound resentful. And I think that's beautiful. Because it definitely
It
speaks
took
to
a
your
while
growth.
to get there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did. But to hear you be able to speak from this place, it's only because of what I'm sure you've been through. And I hope that women listening will be able to hear that and know that there's still joy, there's still hope. You know what I mean? There's still also learning that has
Absolutely.
happened, and that's a part of the journey.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful journey,
Yeah.
as a whole. I would say for me, I'm still learning how to forgive myself for
Mhm.
even entering it.
Mhm.
And, I now have 3 kids who are in a broken home.
Mm.
But one thing my sister said to me that also helped me was they were already in a broken home because
That's real.
we did not,
Wow.
it was broken. We had separate rooms. We didn't talk while in the house.
Oh wow,
um,
Sika, that's
Living
so
under the same
sad.
room, our means of communication was text and email.
Wow.
Oh my
Or I would,
goodness.
go up to his room or something to talk. You know what I mean? That's crazy
Yeah.
to say. So they were already seeing that dynamic, and my second child loves love already at her little age. Loves love. And already envisioning her wedding and marriage
Aw.
and things like that. So I was like, I don't want this to be the example for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my parents are still married, happily married, 36 years.
Wow.
So, and I
36.
saw,
Let's go.
I saw their friendship as the bedrock of their relationship. So I'm like, this can't be the example, because I'm going to start a legacy of broken homes if this is how it's
That's
going to
real.
be if I stay here. So yeah.
Wow. That's so hard. Like my heart is like sad. I know like that's your past.
Mhm.
And so for you, it's like, oh girl, I'm here now. But
Yeah.
It's fresh for us.
yeah, and like you taking us
I don't know the
there's-
other side of the track.
Mhm. Yeah. It's fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to ask,
Mhm.
are your DMs open? Are you
Girl.
like, do we aspire marriage?
I mean, she mentioned dating apps, so I ain't know.
Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, absolutely, I do aspire for marriage. I think that that's a key thing for our community,
Mhm.
to have strong community.
Mhm.
And I mean, that my first one, I don't even consider that a marriage. It was a wedlock, like I
Yeah.
said.
You just, I
It was
understand
a
now.
wedlock.
And
Locked
emphasis on
up.
lock.
Emphasis on lock.
Like, I got you now.
Won't
So-
let me out.
Listen, that sang me softly to bed.
Yeah.
That was my lullaby. But I do aspire for marriage. Taking it very seriously this time, because me to this day, I don't even believe in divorce, but it's something that I had to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Just for my livelihood and my kids. But I do aspire for that. The DMs, are they open? I don't know. It
That's
depends.
okay.
It depends. I'm
Mhm.
open to dating, yes,
Mhm.
but it's wild out here.
It is.
You
I've
know?
heard.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay, so if y'all, I'm pointing the camera. If y'all come to Sika's DMs with that foolishness, we gonna find
it
out.
ain't gonna happen.
So don't come in there with no
Don't come in here
foolishness.
playing.
Don't come in there playing. Okay, if you not talking about no marriage, don't be talking about
That's
nothing.
And if you ain't got no vision, go
Listen,
on, sit down.
No purpose,
please.
nothing.
No vision, no purpose, no nothing.
Yeah.
No, you ain't getting no response. Absolutely none.
Funny.
So are you going to allow your daughters to date?
I will.
At
And
what age? I'm just curious.
At what age? I would say high school. Probably like sophomore year up.
Mm-hmm.
Date, no sex, but
Yeah. Get to know, like,
get to
what
know
do you even
themselves,
like?
what you like, what are some
And
non-negotiables
how are
for
you?
you?
So, like, we always talk about the other person, but like, what kind of partner are you
What kind of
with
person are you?
when
Are
you're
you-
dating somebody?
Listen.
Like, do you have abusive tendencies? Are you a
Yeah, that's
bully?
real. That's
Yes.
real.
Are you mean?
Yeah.
Like, all of that.
Yeah. But I love that your daughters have I don't know if they'll remember, but you seem pretty open to share, like, you know, at the right time and stuff, of course, you know, that this is where mom has been, you know, this is what I've seen.
Right.
And they have that to look at as, like, you know, strength.
Yeah.
And you said, like, so they have their aunt who's married, right? Did you say that? And then they have their grandparents. Like, they have examples.
Very
Yeah.
good examples.
Yeah.
Definitely they do.
And you said he's a great dad to them. So they
Yeah.
have their dad.
Right. And there's no bitterness. I think that's really helped in their healing, is that there's no animosity between me and
That's
my
so good.
ex. A tradition I grew up with is whenever somebody has a birthday, we'll all go out to eat as a family. So that's something that I'm still trying to keep up. He's in the dating streets, you know, he has somebody. So I don't know how it'll be going forward, but that's something that I would love to keep for my girls, so that they still have that kind of family bond. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's a very smooth co-parenting situation.
That's so good.
That's not a
I don't
common
see him
story.
at all.
which
It's
is-
not.
It's not a common story.
Like, she's saying it and she's smiling, y'all. Like, she's like, yeah, I mean, it's.
Yeah. And I mean, I can sense it.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
I
she's
can
not
sense
joking.
it,
Like, it's like, yeah, we got it down.
And I'm just like, how? Like, it's just, how did y'all get to that point from, from the not talking, separate rooms, and still being able to peaceably co-parent well? Like,
I would say it's an extension of that, because that's how we were operating before. So we didn't really communicate. We didn't really talk.
There was no feelings that,
At
like,
all.
on the table where it's like, oh, we got to heal from that, at least.
Right.
It's like, we've been doing this.
At all. We've been doing this. So it was just, now we're in two different homes. This is the same thing we were doing before.
two different rooms.
Yeah.
So, most people who be listening, they'd be like, but like, she ain't go to therapy or nothing. She was just at church every Sunday. Like, how's she able to process all of this stuff? Like, what happened?
Which is funny. We did do couples therapy. There was this one older Black man who was our final counselor. He's like, I wish y'all came to me 6 years ago. We wouldn't even be here. Like, he saw that it was not even going to work. And I think that's his wisdom, because he was an older gentleman. He's like,
You say y'all should
you don't even need to have this discussion. But
There's nothing to fix here. Y'all just need to
he's
go on.
like, y'all have my blessings.
Yeah.
Y'all have my blessings. But that, to answer your question, Spoon, I think being a Christian and having to go through this, that's something that I had to reconcile with God. Because I'm like, I literally tried to do everything that you said I should do.
Yeah.
I went into this as that good Christian girl, but that's where you have to learn, like, his ways are really not your ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The importance of, again, hearing from him, because I said I never had a red flag. I had a whole red banner the whole time, So I ignored all the red flags, it was just a blaring banner. But that was even me being disobedient again, because if I listened to my intuition, a woman's intuition, I feel it's the Holy Spirit most times, I would have known, and I wouldn't have agreed and, moved things further. So it's, that part's still a healing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
I get that.
I'm like, sometimes, the culture or the tradition is just louder than the voice of the Holy Spirit.
It surely is. It surely is.
And you talk about how you did everything right. You did what you were supposed to do.
You did what your parents said too.
And it's like, well, God, I did everything that I was supposed to do. But then as we get older, we realize we did everything that they said that we were supposed to do, not what God had called for us to do. And so there's a misunderstanding or a miscommunication or confusion between what we were groomed to do and culture says that we should do. And God is like, you checked all their boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do, what I've called for you to do.
That
or you didn't
reminds
hear
me. Yeah, that reminds me of the whole deliverance from med school thing. So when he said that, I did go back to my apartment and I was, going through my little fighter verses, and I went to the scripture. I forgot.
Fighter verses.
I
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That pulled me through. But there was one, I forgot the exact place, but it says, you will perfect all that which concerns me. So I was like, what? God, you said you will perfect all that which concerns me. And then again, this is the second time I heard him speak. He was like, no. I said, I'll perfect that which concerns you. I didn't concern you with medicine.
Ooh.
You concerned yourself with that. So I was like, ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
You just got to sit down on that one. Like
I fighting, right? So
Right.
I sat all the way down.
Several seats.
Crossed my legs. I was like, what else you got to say?
Right.
Yeah. Oof. Several
Yeah,
seats.
I felt that one for you.
Right.
You just got to take that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Silence after
You
that.
right.
I was like,
Yes,
you're right.
Father.
You're right.
You are
Yes,
right.
Father. Yes, Father.
I'm going to work on that.
He's father at that point. Like, yes, father.
Right.
All caps, bold, underline. Yo,
Yes, Lord.
That is, I really love that because you talk about how you hear from God, and a lot of people hear God for other people, but you've been hearing God for yourself, which is very countercultural because everybody got a word, a prophetic utterance or whatever for other folks. But, every time I hear you talk about how you heard God, you've always heard God for you. And throughout this entire conversation, you've never said, well, God told me I need to tell my ex-husband, blah, 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 tell him this, tell him that. And
that was me, but I would have been proper lying at that
Yeah.
point. Like, well,
Big
God
prophet lie.
said. That would have been a whole problem.
I really admire that. I really
Yeah.
do admire that and respect that you've always heard God for yourself first.
Yeah.
Had to.
Yeah.
I'll be in some different streets.
Wow.
So.
Man. Where we at?
I don't know. I have one question that's going to take us back. It's just one question. I'm curious, how long between you getting added to the family group chat and then the actual proposal or marriage, like when y'all, like, what was that timeline?
So from the group chat to
Was there even a proposal?
That's why I put it in air quotes because your father-in-law already said it.
listen, if I could flip around. That's the question. That's the question. But so within 2 months, we were basically kind of engaged officially. And then other things like the rings and stuff came, I think, like 6 months after that.
And then you were married.
So the
After.
wedding happened like a year and a half later because they wanted me to finish my degree.
Oh, of course. Right.
Get your
that's
degree
still-
and then your MRS
That's
degree.
still top priority.
Listen, literally.
Wow.
You were engaged 2 months after knowing somebody that you really weren't even feeling like that.
You didn't even
I
know
don't recommend
if
it.
you didn't even know if you liked him.
I didn't. I knew I didn't.
Oh, well,
Oh.
okay.
I knew I didn't.
By-
I
by
just thought
2
we
months,
would grow
she knew.
together. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought we would grow out of it.
Hoping for culture to come through for you.
Listen, it failed me.
Wow.
I'm not going to say that. It's a beautiful culture.
I mean, yeah,
Some aspects of it.
Is that when you say, I was hoping that we would grow, we would grow into love or it would work itself out. Is that how you were able to suppress the red flags? Because you said that it wasn't just like flag on the plate. It was like a big red banner. Like you
a whole
knew,
blimp,
you
know,
felt
that thing.
you felt it, you saw it, you knew it. But that idea was what helped you
Yeah.
too.
And I think it's changing now with like our generation, but my parents' generation and above, they didn't marry for love. They married either for like economic reasons,
Yeah.
or things along those lines. So
Yeah.
love was something that, okay, you either grow into it or it's just not there.
Mhm.
So I was hoping that we would just grow into it, and
Mhm.
eventually learn to like each other. But
Man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take us back.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
just was wondering.
No, it's okay.
it's good.
No, that's cool. Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, I was at 2 months. I was still trying to figure out if I was ready to really get out the streets or not.
Right. Dang.
Man, wow.
You have any other questions?
I think I got it. Everything. Sika, what about you? Anything else that you feel compelled to share? Gems to
Yeah.
drop?
Oh my gosh, putting me on the spot. I wouldn't say so. I just feel like really your purpose and your passion will supersede everything. If you know what you're called and gifted to do,
Yeah.
do that. And what's the example in the Bible? Some woman was working, and that's when, was it Leah?
Was a
Or
woman?
Rachel? Who was working? Or Isaac? Isaac's Rebecca, right?
Yeah, Rebecca.
She was working. She was about her father's business, and then her her man came along.
Mhm.
So, again, being the fact that marriage, you guys should be chasing something together.
Mhm.
Be about your business. Be about your purpose, and then that's when people who are aligned with you in the same vision and the same line will join you, and that's where partnerships and love and all that can come into play.
I love that. You're focused.
Mhm.
Like it's like this, yes, God, I desire marriage, or yes, Lord, I would like to see this, but God, I'm filled with purpose and passion right now, and I'm on the path that you have for me. And I trust that as I, am on the path that I'm supposed to, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to, that you're gonna meet me along the way with what I'm desiring.
Yeah. I want to have a little TikTok of my man.
Yeah.
Welcome to-
Yes.
Don't put that.
Yeah. Definitely gonna be in there.
Yeah.
But no, seriously,
But yeah.
that scripture, he who finds a wife, and how can she be found if she's not about Father's
Exactly.
business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where he'll find her, or should find her. Man, that's it.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask what Sika got going, because she mentioned all these great entrepreneurial
Yeah,
endeavors,
She
and so
got everything happening.
we're gonna put it in the description. But I want you to talk about it. What?
Sure. Well, very excited that this year, by God's grace, Makola will be dropping. And Makola comes from a Yoruba adage, which means the child brings wealth home.
Oh,
So
okay.
for Black people, we've built everything for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for us to focus on ourselves, build our own communities, create our own ecosystem,
Mm-hmm.
and just grow from that and have something that we can pass on to our children's children. So I'm excited about that. The marketplace should be dropping in June
Okay.
of 2024. The podcast, our first season, we just shot the finance section called Common Sense.
Okay.
It's where we take stories from entrepreneurs related to their business and personal finances, shed light on that so that other people can
It's
learn.
rich.
and
It's a
apply
lot
it
of
to-
wealth in
yeah, apply it to their own lives. So that would be dropping next month.
Woo woo.
So excited about those two platforms, Makola and Makola Media House.
Love it.
Yeah, man. And I was just blessed to be a part of the project.
Yes, he would.
I was just so blessed to be a part of it. Because while I was recording, I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm
he would come home like, baby, they was talking about such and such, and I really was thinking.
Yeah, it really got me stirred, and so I know for a fact it's gonna be a blessing to you guys as well who are listening. When you guys get a chance to, and we're gonna share it, we're gonna blast it for sure,
Oh, yeah.
to you guys. But yeah, really good stuff. Sika, thank you for stopping
Thank
by.
y'all for having me.
Yes.
Glad to be
Man.
here.
Yeah, it was such a blessing to hear your story.
It was.
And,
It really was.
I mean, we've had conversations before, but like to get to know each other on a deeper level like this, so organic and everything. I just love and appreciate you so much.
Thank
You
y'all.
are an awesome person.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Y'all are too.
yeah,
Beautiful family.
Now I just gotta meet your girls, and then it'll be complete.
yeah. It'd be
Mhm.
really
Oh, we'll have play dates.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because you have one that's gonna be 2.
About to be too.
So same with us. So they're right there together.
Boom, there it is. Anything else? Sika, where can they find all of your stuff?
Well, you can find Makola at Makola_official on all social media handles. And then Makola Media House on all social media channels.
And how you spell that?
MAKOLAA.
Okay, got you.
2 A's at the end.
Yeah, 2 A's at the end. All right, it's gonna be in the description to it on the screen, y'all, for you guys. And if you decide to listen, then you're just gonna have to listen and rewind it or something if you missed the spelling. But yeah, this was good, baby.
This was so good. Yeah,
this was really good. So again, Sika, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And until next episode, we'll see you guys later. Be easy. Peace. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with the Left Hand Gang podcast.
Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and rate us.
And lastly, please don't forget to check out our website. That's lefthandgang.co for merch and ways to stay connected.
Catch you next episode.
Gang.